Thank you very much, I love these guys. So I'm going to invite my co-host up to take over now, and she's going to run the open mic, and then we're going to have our special poet song again at the end. Please welcome Donna Campbell.
How's your night going? It's just been absolutely spectacular and listening to Stephen and Spencer, and it's like everyone I heard, I was like, I wish I'd written that, I wish I'd written that, and just everything, it was like, I wish I'd written that, I wish I'd written that. But anyway, it's a great night. So I'm just going to kick off the open mic. I'm just on here very quickly and off. I'm going to introduce the first person, and then the other people that are doing the open mic will come up themselves and say their name. So without any further ado, we have Jim McINTOSH.
Congratulations to Stephen and to Spencer, wherever he is. But most of all, thank you to Linda Jackson for doing the tough gig, which is supporting poets in desperately need. That said, I'm now going to take the piss out of all this poets. Well, gently. I dedicate this to all my fellow poets. It's called Abusing Lasagna. Poetry readings have to be the saddest gatherings ever. The hard-nosed huddles of the loyal, the loose bundles of the not-so-loyal, time after time, Tuesdays, first Tuesday of the month, Thursdays, the last Thursday of the month, growing older and older, occasionally dying, then dying again in front of the loyal, not-so-loyals, still hoping to be famous, trying to inflate punctured egos, nurturing faint ambitions, stitching pamphlets of skin and bone together, bitching about non-believers, squinting into the spotlight beyond it for the familiar face who always applauds, even before you've said a single word. Reading for each other, at each other, backslapping in a circle, each with a blade in a pocket, just in case. Can't find the publisher, those brave, those innocents. Maybe no. Can't find a print shop to scam them of their wet publishing dreams, but read on and on and on in the poetry swamps of the damned, unflinchingly resolved to make it, actually not knowing what the fuck it actually is, not knowing there is no fortune to be made, never for a moment accepting at best they're not very good, or at worst criminally, insanely shite. But they read on and on and on to the loyal, not so loyal, or the family that's been dragged into their whirlpool of despair, who encourage it only to get them to quietly, gently fuck off and return to their definition of normal. Then there's the queue of the others waiting for their turn to nudge us all closer to the edge, and always there's an idiot tempted into the bar by the blackboard specials blocking the pavement, unaware of the impending irreversible bleed from their ears, hadn't spotted the sacrificial mic stand, unable to leave as they had stupidly paid up front for the chef's lasagna and chips. Unaware the service is as bad as the poetry. I despair for the word wrestlers, the stanza stavers, the sympathy for the living, for the half-dead, the galley churners of daily specials, and the unnecessary abuse of lasagna. I head for the toilets and swerve out the fire exit, and the alarm ringing jealously in my ears, I escape into the city's darkness to search for the merchants of truth. A barman daring me to ask for an old-fashioned on last orders. A rat-arsed peace-bagger weighed down by a kebab. A bus driver on the soulless last bus, empty but for me, and gratefully him. A doorway dweller offering me a seat for a coin, a wet fart in an empty 24-hour drinks aisle, and my 3-year-old grandson carving words from his quarry of innocence in any order but this, for the last of the loyal, the not so loyal, losing the race to the bottom of the page. Since Linda has started and kick-started sexual tension, a wee thing called fingers and thumbs. It's my cataract thing. We have become a nation of fingerers. Nowhere is safe from this activity. On every high street, even the Kingston Bridge, men and women, day and night, fingering each other. The finger is power. Of course, I'm always innocent. It's never me that fingers first, and I only respond to being fingered. Even then, I finger fast, always with an exit strategy, never fingering as I come to an abrupt stop. I'm really brave, though, behind glass. Behind locked doors, I'm fingering shielded by anonymity and the consumption of brave juice. It's the practice of all classes, a universal language, from which, albeit inadvertently, my brother has moved on. One day, his wife beside him, he felt it coming on. Road rage unfolding in front of him, but in the car with 2 bairns in the back, he flexed to finger. His brain kicked in and the middle finger tucked into a fist as the thumb instinctively took over, and the thumb of abuse, the thumb of power, of acknowledged up yours, was born on the South Deeside Road out of Aberdeen. Most people will never admit they drive badly, are aggressive pedestrians, or admit that fundamentally as human beings, under the thin veneer of banal pleasantries, we actually dislike each other immensely. I mean, I blame COVID, I blame Brexit, I always blame the fucking Tories, and everyone else but my angelic self. The finger is a weapon of choice. You will never admit it, but you thought, just for a moment, I was actually talking about masturbation. There you were. But that's okay. And if you don't agree with me, or if you don't like my poem, that's okay too. But all I have to say to all of you is, thank you.
Wow, how'd you follow all that? I get into trouble last time for not introducing myself. So I am Douglas Thompson, okay? Got out of the way. I work as an architect. So this poem was about rebuilding a building parked house that burned out. A building is a ship sailing not through space but tide. We'll patch this old girl up, re-roofing floating beams across the chasms, replastering cornices, the sweet smell of fresh paint, our hands haunted by echoes of those first men in aprons, waistcoats and bonnets, who under barking orders of gentleman architect and mason built a new Athens in the sky, singing at the centre of empire. The view from this hill then, still of green surrounding fields, on days when the smog cleared. Well-to-do merchants, shipping magnates, stinking rich, then 70 students tend to a room before the fire. Each only passengers as we are. But the expressions on the carved lines' faces this morning steal our breath in the wintry air on the scaffold, waiting 2 centuries for their close-up. Their author, a humble craftsman, casually, anonymously, leaving beauty for us to find. This one's called Gilmore Hill Spire, 1891, because that's when he was born. Pointed like a finger to heaven, all my life guarding my dreams, a black stone skirt, swirling dervish, filigree negligee, sailing and spinning around in perpetual motion, frozen music on its eagle-high hilltop, regal above the green canopy, the sea of leaves of Kelvin Grove Park, the dance of celebration that leads, of the delights of learning, organic as a tree itself, symbolic continuum, how youth must always come through, a needle threading itself to replace its antecedents, nourished on the bough of wisdom. As Gilbert Scott, its architect, fell like a gnarled oak before completion, so that his son could finish it, and daring to alter it, redesigned it lighter, sleeker, made it even better. Still an architecture theme. This is called Warehouse Windows. Drowned world of blue memory, broken warehouse windows in fragmented reflections. Moons sail like flickering white flags, darting fish play among underwater ruins. The chimneys stand guard, smoking guns. Vandals throwing stones become doves, wings mapped, frozen in afterimage. Punctured glass, glittering of jewels, frost across the no man's land. Unending, indelible handprints, fluttering freedom renewed each night. Moonlight data stream graffiti, indecipherable revelation pouring down from the stars. This viscous elixir in which everything atrophies, motion, progress, language, time. This is called At Christmas. At Christmas, I used to turn home, fill a rucksack with gifts and catch the long, loving train under Glasgow, through tunnels of memory, out through hazy suburbs, back to the village that raised me, retrace the streets of childhood, a maze of hedges and rockeries, unlocking the puzzle of upbringing, to open again the creaking back door of my parents' house and catch up with all the lives of my brothers, like a train terminus. Our tracks interwove there over dinner, laughter, news and reminiscences, before finally sleeping on the floor in front of the fire, or anywhere we could find space. But space can't find us now. Our constellation of love is lost at last, become no place. The old house sold and changed beyond resemblance, for it was only bricks and mortar after all. And like the glitter of frost and stars below as above, both fleeting and immortal. Finally, this one is about my late artist brother whose studio is near here. It's called Discontinued. In the fog of uncertainty, a train carries me through the discarded husk of your ended life. Your studio keys in my pocket, your diaries in my haversack, open in front of me. So many of your appointments never to be kept. Friendships left cut in mid-air, and somewhere ahead, a whole room of paintings, faces turned to the wall like sulking children, waiting to turn and tell their story of a life, of a man who tried and failed, as must we all, but went down fighting like no other. My brave, hopeless brother, the blood on the walls you taught to sing. Thank you.
Hello. Right. Sorry, I was like, is it me? I'll just write the stage while I'm up here, it's not a problem. Right, so, my name's SITHOLE. I'm going to do 2 poems for you tonight, both of which are part of a collection that I'm writing just now, about grown-up working class in Pollock. And what can I say? So, there's a lot of traumatic stuff in that. Trigger warnings, gang violence, and the second poem there's a bit of self-harm discussion about that as well. I also have a sore throat. So, one of the things, so there's a lot of trauma growing up working class, I'm sure a lot of people in the room will know that. There's also a lot of solidarity and coming together, and one of the most amazing things that did happen in Pollock that I remember was the M77 protests, and basically Colin MacLeod, camped out in Pollock Park, the Birdman of Pollock. He absolutely united a whole community of people. There were guys that would fight each other with machetes, and then in the same, like the next day, they were stood side by side protesting for the M77 not to be running through Pollock. It's amazing. So, and what we called them, so we called them the Tree People. That was the protesters who camped out in Pollock Park. Tree People. I remember 1995, marching Tree People, age 14, shouting, "No M77! No M77!" Stoke them, cutting our heart in two like a Frida Kahlo. I remember the camp. White guy dreads, recycled threads, carving tree stump torso. Tortured expression, precisely chiselled. Perfect metaphor, dying land. Damp tree bark, campfire burning, tarpaulin overhead, colour sky, somewhere to hang ideas. Hail year groups, poetic, absconding fae, Bellarmine RC. Alan Stewart, Tory MP, neighbouring subtopia, brandishing pickaxe. Political suicide, turning tides, Tree People and locals united, every single heart ignited. A revolution until Tories tarmacked fresh hope, dreams of old, Tesco shopping trolley burn, transmogrified into silver burn. Bellarmine flattened for car park, gentrification socially deprived. Am I still working class? If you cut me in half, it would say made in Pollock. Lowe's vernacular, somehow less spectacular. Age 17, made my exit, vegan culture, widowed mother, trying to change worlds to conceptual art. Imaginations unfurled at the GSA. Vroom. Pitbull swung, dog chain in face, metallic, near misses, Mr. Charlie, pensioner with a crowbar, trying to get the bastards, said Chris, goat hit. Full frontal face, brick, teeth annihilated. Boy died on train tracks, running. Postie murdered, pillar box rid, gang stained streets, stray dogs territorial. Where's the divide? Show me the line where we fight for our lives. Is it the Green Bridge, the gable end, or the mouth in the motorway? My wings don't depend on Hondas. Does that make me a sellout? Tourist sook and stick a rock, neon pink skin, artificial? Is living your best life superficial? I still use the back entrance like every other local where Alwich and the bingo were sandwiched together. It will always be the old Pollock Centre where we hang our hearts to die. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, my drying through. So the next poem, the last poem, is called Halfway in Bloom, and I wrote this there's many people I'm thinking about when I wrote this poem. One of whom is my big cousin, who is no longer here. Kids I work with all the time, every single day. It's really hard growing up, especially today, and it's quite sad that the things that applied years ago are still applicable today. Okay, thanks. Clap it back. So, Halfway in Bloom. You are O'Keeffe's purple petunias, colour of royalty. Amethyst amidst road grit, magenta shock a hair midway atween red and blue. Iris eye a storm, violet at the end a overdue rainbows. Testifying in court, seen it all before. White walls, paper thin, hole punch fists, anger clenched, only way to express. Giant black scribble above your head, thoughts, messy. You are Picasso's Dora Maar, oh, sharp angles, intangible tears, all in a fancle, inverted pain, multi-direction. You are Banksy's balloon girl, letting go of love or trying to retrieve it, trying to feel it. Self-harm numbs pain, shredded at soft peas within guilt frame, someone else's guilt, someone else's shame, letting you down, letting you go, no caring enough. You are truly priceless. No one can own you, but you can own yourself. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. If I sound different, it's because I'm from Australia, so I hope you can understand the accent. This poem is called, my name is Ross DONLAN. The poem is called The Quiet American. It's not about Donald Trump. He came to her from far away, from across the Pacific, the quiet American, from jazz, comics, radio, romantic movies, and pop culture. A polite American. Even in uniform, private corporal, corporal private, his creams, casual, elegant, as a Broadway star, tap dancing across the wall to Australia, the right American. And kind, she could tell, or convinced herself. And he was soft-spoken, so unlike her family's men, who could rip to anger quick as look, but this nice American. It was passionate, she related much later. Hard to imagine them in a clinch outside her sister's home. Cue, strings, moonglow, close-up, cut to a star-bright American. Part of the war in the Pacific, there's a wedding in St. Vincent's. She's in her sister's gown. He's disguised as a soldier. Soon a child makes its way to life. Delight for the American. War moves its pieces across the map of Papua. His snaps, not much bigger than stamps, goofing with mates as she knits and waits. Japan dissolves in a white light, the Americans. Every story has a beginning, middle, and thread-tying end. The denouement in this case is protracted, V for someone's victory. Love promises to return, the flight of the American. The river is wide, says the popular song, and I cannot cross o'er, but an ocean is wider. Like puppets, they pull their strings, but snap. She dangles, he falls, a slight American. Dying herself, my mother, 70 years later, I ask of him again. She still sees Bill, she says, in dreams. They're both at a dance, but apart, in the twilight, American. Thank you, and congratulations to the poets, whose names I forget. But both were graced. Different but great. So congratulations. And you, sir. I like to breathe. Breathing seems like a good thing to do. That complimentary collect when you pass go, once in a lifetime gift, available only to the quick, the poor dead left to fend for themselves. I like that in and exhaling is sure to score a cab on a rainy night. How the intimacy of breathing envelops the heart, a back seat hope, safe from the world outside. I like that each trip from nose to toes is a steady stream of O2 consciousness, a space race through the neural paths and highways of the mind, a rush of endorphins, adrenaline and dopamine, who love being alive. I like to wake up, breathing. Then I know that night was well spent rolling down the previous day's dreams while winding up the screen for the next. And so I honour my lungs, those twin bellow fellows who follow my breath so obediently, rising to nudge my tender nostrils, always alert for coffee and croissants. For it's gratifying to know the sense of smell is improved and heightened by breathing. The app is one of the 5 senses that came with birth and a slap. And breathing is to swimming, as swimming is to breathing. With both, I'll drop like a stone if I stop. Submarine, my breath is soundless as turbines, necessary as skin, steady as my crankshaft heart. So I slither, slap and splash, frog, fish, lizard, wanting to dolphin, striving to walk on my tail. Hence, I'm grateful for evolution, which has allowed me to think of ponds as well as mud, stars as well as existentialism. For this, I thank ancestor slither, crab, claw, fishwing, who lay perplexed and baking before making for land. Air bubbling with gills that exploded with the possibility of flight. I like to breathe, thrilling with a full-throated sense of being. No wonder I can sing. Thank you. And I'll close with a poem about one of my granddaughters. I have 5 granddaughters. I've been very clever, you can see. This is called Friday with Remy. It's a 3-way mobile call between me, my son, and my granddaughter, Remy. Remy is 5 and about to start school. Talk is to sort a postponed Christmas, and we've settled on a park midway between our homes this Friday. How easy it is to love a grandchild. She's a transfusion to my aging heart that sees ghosts following close behind and something else I don't recognise, but know. Distance means Remy and I rarely meet, but occasionally I believe she loves me anyway. It's a delight in a word lovingly spoken. Grandad! And so I say to the echo of her speakerphone, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Friday, Remy. Silence at the other end. 5 years of calculation, hard at work, and then she asks, when is Friday, Grandad? And I count the days. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Hi, I am Ian Boyd. My wife and I had a holiday last month in northeast Spain, Catalonia, and this poem is called Mediterranean Blues. The waitress nods us to our table. Another pale-skinned, grey-haired couple. We fit right in. Me in my linen shirt, she in well-heeled sandals. The breakfast room buzz ebbs and flows. I lift my plate, wander forward, hover, paralysed by abundance, buffet fatigue. Outside, cones hang in green shaded clusters, dodging Iberian sun. I move to the window and forget to breathe. Cloudless azure sky hangs above cliffs of twisted stone, grey, ochre red. Below, waves break on sun-drenched rocks. Turquoise shallows deepen into densest blue. And at the edge of vision, the meeting, infinitely thin, arrow straight. I close my eyes, skim out towards the horizon, over that vast, many-sided sea, deep as life itself. Picture it stretching east in endless shades of blue. This water cradled cultures once, birthed and nurtured hopes we cling to still. I load my plate, walk back, nibbling cinnamon cake. But out there, on that blue, heart-aching sea, desperate folk risk everything. And on its furthest shore, Gaza lies in ruins. So the holiday was a return for my wife and myself to the place where we had our honeymoon a long time ago. So this one's called Gravity. As breakfast coffee cools, you catch my eye. Tilt your head towards the window table. A young couple sit silhouetted against perfection. Her gaze, adoring, probes his Ray-Ban shielded eyes. He has the neat black curls and beard of a Greek god. From Athens, Georgia, maybe. He beams, drawls softly. She laughs, pushes a strand of golden hair behind her ear, takes his hand, strokes it. He leans in. As their lips meet, the universe vanishes, unable to resist the gravity of love. You roll your eyes. I think of the last time we were here, fresh from our vows, innocence abroad. We were giddy with the newness of it all, too shy to kiss in the breakfast room. We've learned a lot since, unlearned more. Now we fit together quietly, like two pieces of an old jigsaw puzzle. But as I look at you across the table, I feel the tug again. Gravity, gripping tight, pulling hard. So I watched a bit of Glastonbury on the telly over the weekend, and I was very taken with Neil Young's set. Always been a fan, but what I can't get over is the difference between the way he looks and the way he sounds. So I wrote this. The lights come up and there you are, staggering around the stage, looking like a drunk farmer who stumbled through the wrong door. But as you lean and reel, your fingers coax miracles from that battered black Les Paul. You lift your head and whine into the mic. That delinquent, angelic voice, fragile as earth, eternally young. Throw your hatreds down, you sing, Old man, take a look at your life. You're just like you always were.
Hi, I'm Jeff Dunn, and I've got 2 poems. All right, and I've got 2 poems. The first one is about not being able to sleep. I'm sure most of us have had that feeling at some point. So this poem is called Soft, Sleepless Thoughts. In my darkness, sleep evades me, so I search for something as tranquil as a soundless, salty sound where the sea's soft sand wash. Something as soothing as honey gold fruit tea slipping slowly southwards. Something as somnolent as a jasmine scented bath, soapy soap suds tingling. Something as hushed as an airborne sporophore submitting to the will of nature. Something as silent as and this, because AVANT GARDE is renowned for its live music, and this poem is about a mountain, rather than, as you mentioned earlier, that was. Anyway, this poem is called The Song of a Dangerous Place. Snowflakes hustle and bustle as winter rushes in. Dark, jagged drops turn white and pillow soft. Cotton ball curves create a white, shadowless land, and within a few hours, this mountain disappears. A choir of snowflakes swirl around me in chaotic harmony, silent sopranos in alto mountains. I know the dangers and how hostile this landscape can become, and how easily I could be consumed. But I let a snowflake settle on my outstretched tongue, and I sing along with the song of this dangerous place. Thank you.
Hi there, Charlie Gracie. This is the second poem tonight to mention Banksy. This is based on the story of a poor fella from Port Talbot who got jailed for breaking in to destroy a Banksy about to be plundered and taken to London. Fire and rage in the land of strangers. When Banksy, hands skilled as a welder, crept into Port Talbot to paint that tie-back wall, the corner glistened till the moneyman border raided took to himself the public goods. In Tir Orsaf, a staging post for the plundering, factory ash falls like snow. A man with a decent drink in him flashes bright, thrashes out in the quiet night. If Port Talbot cannot have it, then nobody bloody well will. He's ready for sure for the fight, to strike a light for Wales with a can of brilliant white. There's muscle memory in the steelworks, hymns full belted out in chapels from the valley heads to the sea. Even as jobs are dangled in industrial ebb and flow, as the winding up looms in the corners of dreams, dark as a pit quarrel, dark as Thatcher's heart. Even as the jaws of mums and dads tighten at prospects dinning, still swings the ticking click of girls' heels, the shuffle of boys from street corner to club, In this place where fallout falls slow on children's tongues and the sea salt spray of Swansea Bay fights the oxide plume, young ones still dance and laugh and scrap on Saturday night with all the fierce joy of a wind blowing down. I slithered about sharing this granddaughter poem to Ross, shared this beautiful granddaughter poem. There's a triskel is a Celtic three-sided eternal swivelly thing, which is beautiful. A walk with my granddaughter. This is what I'll do. I'll lay a triskel in the garden here. It will be formed of slabs of Kilkenny limestone, and I'll grow beans among its Celtic curves. It will be big enough for you and me to walk around, like we did the other day at Coldingham Bay, where you followed me sliding my feet through the sand to form a triskel on the North Sea shore. I loved how you traipsed after me, meditating on nothing but the shift of sand in your toes, nothing but that and the lines I laid for you. You took your own path after a while, and we crisscrossed round the three arcs, past each other, diverged, only to come together again at the meeting points, meeting and diverging in the breezy afternoon. Just you and me, as your brothers and cousins played football beyond, my big feet shaping the triskel lines in the sand, your wee feet padding soft along the eternal sweep of it. At the centre of my garden triskel, I will place that column of Irish sandstone, the one Brendan carved in his workshop in Donegal town. It is round with a Celtic knot, turning and flowing eternally. And when you and I walk the triskel in years and years to come, I'll remember Coldingham Bay and the swish of waves washing sand on the shore and shushing it down again into the foam of the sea, and the cold wind from the north and the soft heat of the sun. Just to echo thanks to Linda and Donna for a great night, hosting beautiful music, and to Spencer and Stephen for, wonderful punchy poems, beautifully delivered and scratching away at the inside of my head. So this poem featured recently in the online zine of a great project called Paper Boats based around Stirling University. So check it out. Ecological stuff and creative stuff. Blades. It's my favourite field. The one above the village. Hair run, rutted with frost, and the top of the rise, the gean tree, angelic, near enough in its primacy. Corbies lift from the cold ground at the heel of the day, a choir of rasps in the still air. I'm listening to public service broadcasting, that album about Amelia Earhart, her distant voice in my ears whispering about flight and the beauty of movement and the lovely quiet of a sunrise above the desert. To the south, in the half mist of the Fintry Hills, the tip of a turbine blade swings up and over in the lazy breeze. Hiya! 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 Cheery, undeterred things they are, spinning beyond the top of the fells there. They don't miss a chance to wave at me, these monuments to engineering, twirling solid, twirling fluid in the swoosh of wind. Hiya! 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 I'll wave back, the way I still do to trains and to the geese who fight the corbies for the slim winter pickings. Amelia punches her words now to the punches of the beat. She tells me of danger, the press of propeller blade on air, the plane spinning into the night, the risks of doing nothing in the face of all things being possible.
Can I ask you please to put your hands together for Donna Campbell? And I would like to thank all the open micers who were here, they were great, and the people who read. Charlie Grace is a fabulous poet, Jim McINTOsh, Douglas, thousands of novels. If you want to read it, the next one, you'll have to come and see me or message me. There's some great writers, and the next one I think we'll be having is probably in August or maybe September, but watch for it. Meanwhile, I'd like to say thanks to my band members. Thank you to the bar staff and this place for being here. Before we finish tonight, I would like to bring back onto the stage just to do a poem each to say they're here and they've made it, the books are out, and thanks for buying them. There's a lot of them away, you have a lovely time. Please welcome back to the stage Stephen Watt and Spencer Mason.
It's okay, it's not uncomfortable for us at all.
No, yeah, it's so normal. So
Beautiful aftershave, I'm telling you.
Is that right? Do this,
Yeah. Okay. Do I need a wee poo holes? Just wait it back and get a shoot.
I quite liked what Spencer said earlier on about trying to find some light in the darkness, and this is the final poem in my book, so one is a little bit lighter, but it comes from a dark place again. Just as a show of hands, who here has done CPR training some type? Like quite a few, so you'll all be familiar with the dummy, the doll that's used, which was Resusci Annie, which was based on a girl who drowned in the River Seine in Paris about the 1880s, I think it was. She was never identified, but her face is what is used on those dummies. So this poem is about her, and it's called The Most Kissed Girl in the World. Speculation as to why dims in the Seine's ripples. Ugliest theories deduct that it was intentional. A girl without scruples about life or love or morals. We will never know, but this angel is depicted as beautiful, gentle, Leon Fonbelle. Perhaps 16, perhaps in trouble with no known family visible in the mortuary to identify her, to claim her as their child. The one I practiced on adorned a Motorhead t-shirt, rock chick, natural hair stitched onto the vinyl, a long black wig. I half expected her eyes to open as I compressed her chest, twice cast breath, and recommenced my count. Annie, are you okay? Breathe, fucking breathe. Millions of eyes flickering open, eyelashes shimmering, mouths retching, gagging for the perfumed air of life, oxygen. Be remembered for something good. Sleeping divinely in storage cases across all St John ambulance training centres, the brain and heart crave our immortal daughter, and the world eternally thanks you. Thank you.
I don't want to read anymore. My poo is from Donna Campbell. It's the first time I've had a poo donated. I want to to. Actually, I wanted to say, basically, I moved from Dundee to Manchester and then Manchester to Glasgow. My first night doing poetry, I wrote a few poems in Manchester, but didn't really take it seriously until I came up here. My first poetry night in Glasgow, Stephen was doing a 10-minute set at DONNA, and it kind of blew my fucking mind a little bit. So it's a bit of a, yeah. I'll one day in a non-sexual way masturbate over here, because you can non-sexually masturbate. I don't know if people are aware. Wow, I just said that. I don't know if people are aware, but Scotland currently holds the World Cup in poetry. Thanks to a fucking legend called Biff Smith. And after the Nationals, there was a little bit of controversy with the Nationals that I won't talk about. But I went for dinner with Biff after, because I wanted to be like, but no matter what happened, you were fucking dynamite, and he was. And we went for dinner, and this is just a poem about having dinner with the world champion. It's a bit insane. Mussels and samphire, a poor choice of wine, red, because I was eating fish. I was having dinner with the champion. We both were, sorry, I'm going to pause here, because I meant to say, when you're a writer, sometimes you need to feel less narcissistic, because writing is a very narcissistic task, and you put your words in other people's mouths. And the other day, my partner was like, wow, Biff sounds so insightful. What a beautiful phrase. It's so him to have said that. I fucking wrote it. Okay? We both were penitent with praise, slow with our sips, relaxed with our falling of our gazes. I sucked up too much spaghetti at once and choked as he spoke of Clint Eastwood and Appaloosa Rains. He said he no longer needed to prove to anyone that he had been through it, had a tough paper round, as it were. Back then, he murmured, what people wanted in an artist was a capacity for immolation, a wink, a murmuration of the candle. Yes, you can suffer for your art, but you can smile for it too. Thank you.